do you know Tim?
I've known Tim for a long time because there was a point in the mid-90s again where we just seemed to be. I think he was nearly always on before me in the Pleasance above in the during the Edinburgh Fringe and doing it's rare. And so I saw his shows a lot because they were. He did these sort of gang shows really, which he was at the centre of, but he had a little team of guys, and it was all there was not exactly a story or a theme, but there was lots of songs and lots of other characters coming in, and so I used to watch those shows quite. There's one where he's leaning, you lean to the left, and yeah, and he's this brilliant figure in modern comedy, in that he's a little bit of a throwback in some ways. He's a little bit light entertainment, traditional jokes, which never has been. I'd say in the 90s it wasn't, that wasn't where people were at, this guy just doing puns, but he sort of, people loved him for that at the time, and he stayed this perennial favourite because his jokes are really good. And I have a huge admiration for him because I think I can't really write jokes, and to write so many, and for them to be that good, I think is really impressive. And then it doesn't matter if some of them are grown as they're meant to be, but the standard of puns is fantastic. But I think also his things like the pen behind the ear thing he does, so some of the visual stuff and the songs he does are incredible. I think pen behind the ear is one of my favourite comedy routines of all time, and you can watch that if you haven't watched it. Watch it on YouTube now. Come back. And it's just infectiously funny. It's just so ridiculous and beautiful, and that's what he had when I saw him in the 90s, and he's retained that, and he's just got this great career. And I remember I did a charity gig with him. I think maybe the last time I saw him, and there was a gag I'd been doing for a long time. It was actually a Lee and Herring joke about Jerry Hall's advice about how to spice up your sex life, to keep your marriage going, keep your relationship going, which is to be a cook in the kitchen, a maid in the parlour, and a whore in the bedroom. And then we do a joke about me and Stu created a joke in the probably 1991 about it's better just to be a whore in every room of the house. That's the best advice. But I did this routine, and I've been doing it for years and years. And I did it, and Tim saw it. And there's a bit where I go, Jerry Hall's advice how to keep your man. So that's going to be worth listening to. Prick up your ears. And then Tim Vine said to me, you should say that's not the advice. So he managed to find this joke in this routine I'd done for ages that had never occurred to me, that just came out of me going, prick up your ears. And it wasn't, obviously there was a funny joke in that and I hadn't seen it. And now that always gets a laugh. So I always think of Tim Vine, and I still do that joke when I'm doing a 10-minute set. And I always think of Tim, and I always think that was great advice. I did write a joke for Tim that I sent to him because I didn't think it could work for me, and it didn't work for him either. He tried it. It was with something like my grandfather was was a fishmonger. I can't quite remember how it was. It was more than this, but something like my great grandfather was a fishmonger. My grandfather was a fishmonger. My father was a fishmonger. Now I am a fishmonger. I guess I've inherited the selfish gene, but didn't work for him. That's why I can't do it. It was a bit cleverer. There was a slightly cleverer than that, but not much cleverer than that. But he did try it. So thank you, Tim, for trying that joke. Sorry that it bombed as it deserved to. It's hard to do puns. The great thing about Tim Vine's top comedy moments is that it's literally that we're going to be talking to Tim about his favourite 11 comedy clips, because it's important to have it goes up to 11. That's the difference with this. So it'd be great to find out what stuff he's chosen. I'd be interested. He's so unique amongst our generation of comedians. It'd be very interesting to see what things have influenced him or what things he finds funny. I think there might be some surprises in there. And I think he's a guy who's got quite a broad palette, but I think again, well, we'll see. I don't know everything that he's choosing, so we'll see. But he's so I think that's kind of quite fascinating to see what influences a comedian, especially if they then have created their own completely new style of comedy, or they've created their own thing, because I think that's how comedians work. Is you sort of start off loving someone and sort of emulating the thing that you love, and then you find your own way through. But if you can go back and find those ingredients, and then you go, oh yeah, I see why all those slammed together might make Tim Vine. So it'll be interesting to see what makes this strange middle-aged man doing puns and throwing pens at his ear.